He's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment. We're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Vasalut and welcome to another attempt at pretending to be a professional broadcaster once again. I joke because I was this close to not having the camera hooked up and on, and it was whoops. Keep singing, Sophie. Keep singing. I gotta get the camera hooked up. But I thank you. We are halfway through it. Happy Woden's Day. Good to see you, my friends. First in was Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube, Fluff Chick Productions. Good to see you, Connie. Thank you so much for being here. And, of course, the lovely Netter of Netters Network, calling me the love of her life and asking all of you to like, share, subscribe, become a member, do all those YouTube things, because it matters so much to my ability to actually keep doing what we're doing here. Really, really appreciate it. Now, Mark here is touching on something that indirectly relates to the kind of thing I want to talk about today. He says, Mech po. For those of you that don't speak Klingon, it's lunchtime. Kartan Hod, Captain Kartan. Someone beamed aboard a bunch of High Council members that left the homeworld to forestall a vote on the restricting of Ketha province. What should we do with these petakpu, these filthy animals? I would space them, is what I would do. They do not deserve an honorable death. If they are fleeing to avoid their responsibilities, there is nothing more dishonorable for a Klingon than to do that. I can't imagine a government leader who would run and hide rather than go and simply do their job and debate and persuade and vote. Exactly what they were sent to the High Council to do. I can't imagine what sort of petachpu would do that. Let's see here. Jonathan Conroy also asking you to do the YouTube things. Hit that like button, please. Please, please, please. I've had a couple videos go up. I've had one go up every morning. Little clips of the in remembrances from Geeky Geezers. And would you believe that the knucklehead that is following me around to hit dislike on as many of my videos as he can is going out of his way to dislike an in remembrance of someone who's passed. That's what an asshole this guy is. And you know, if it's only seen by like 3 or 4 people and I only get 3 or 4 likes and I get the one, you know, downvote, that really hurts the percentage, you know. Only 75% of people like the video, really? That hurts. That hurts, you know. Yo, Joe! Good to see you, my friend. Always good to see you. Good to see every single one of you. Thank you, Nate. He says, like, share, subscribe, comment, and become a member. And this is a guy who puts his money where his mouth is. Yeah, well, I guess that would apply too, because he does all the things that he's asking you to do. He liked the video. I know he did. He is a subscriber. He is a member. And you can see the comment right here. So he's doing all the things. He really is. He is good people. Joe's Atmosphere, who is he excels at the share out the stream. Super appreciate him for that. Let the cocktails flow. You're listening to the song, aren't you? 70 characters translated, 193 characters left today. Ej bakjaj hoch dol dal o ta havish du dalo ta vish. I can't translate it that quickly on the fly. Let's see. Joe, Big Al Presents. I thought I was first. Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. You were right. I even commented. I even responded, you know, by typing that you were first, because when I went to the YouTube video, you were first. But for whatever reason, the platform didn't carry over that one. It fell off, which is, you know, I expect comments to fall off when you put them in hours early. But yours was not that long ago, so I don't know what happened there. So I apologize. Let me rephrase. Big Al actually was first, whereas Connie Cleary was the first one showing first here in the platform. Not fair. Not fair. Yeah, Bokwi is the best one available for translating. But Mark, you might want to reach out to those folks at the Klingon Language Institute and let them know they kind of need to get on, you know, some of this AI technology, because it's becoming more and more accessible, and they could probably put together a really good translator. They should probably do that. It would really help the language, you know. I heard all those patakpu have felony arrest warrants out, and their seats will be vacated if they don't return to the first city by Friday. I hadn't heard the second half of that, but I had heard the first part of that. Good. I am glad to hear that. I'm getting sick and tired of leaders and people that are making a whole frickin' lot of money acting and behaving like children. It's getting frickin' ridiculous. Do your damn jobs. As Spider-Man Brand New Day is filming, new updates are coming by the day. The latest one is that Mac Gargan Venom may show up in the movie, as the actor has posted an Instagram pic of Scorpion Venom. Interesting. I guess they're going to see how much they can cram into this. And remind me, this is still a Sony production, right? So this is Sony trying to leverage their Spider-Man rights here. Am I correct on that? Still engagement. Absolutely, that's true. That is true. I guess the goofball giving me the downvote doesn't hurt so much. It's the lack of upvotes that kind of bothers me, you know. But we are driving the asshole nuts by watching time travel movies and talking about the grandfather paradox, and he can't engage. That's true. Oh, I forgot. That's his whole shitstorm, right? Is he knows how time travel works, and everyone else is wrong, and he can prove it, because he's a frickin' wackadoo. Oh, thank you. That puts it in perspective, gorillas. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'd actually forgotten that's what his whole boggle was all about. I forgot how stupid this guy was. Saying hi to each other, of course. That damn translator, it's supposed to say, Kapla, may you bring glory to your streams. I never really thought about the translation of streams. The difference between the word stream, which literally means, a tributary of water, smaller than a river, as opposed to, for example, what we're doing right here, a live stream on the internet. Sometimes etymology can kind of really confuse translation. Which one is up to you? I guess that's what I get for buying a Ferengi translate. Well, yes. I suppose that's absolutely true. Yeah. If Evie Mux doesn't change some things, I might be moving over to Restream in the new year. Kim Paxson is filling out the paperwork. Good. It's so as much as I can complain about people not doing their jobs, I really do appreciate when people actually are doing their jobs. That should be bare minimum. It shouldn't be something, worthy of taking note of, but, by comparison, right? Come on, people, smash the like button. This is our prime directive. I like that. That's a great way to put it. Well, I think I've finagled long enough. Let's go ahead and get to this article that I wanted to bring up from the, it's Avon. From the, let me share my screen here. You don't need sound. From the, I should really put this into a dynamic grid so that I don't have to futz with this when I bring it up. So Bob Iger claims Fantastic Four is a new IP despite being on its third reboot. Let's just stop right there before we even get into the article. That pretty much says it all. This was really the banner headline that kind of inspired what I wanted to talk about today, and that's that Bob, you're leading, this big multi-million-dollar company. You have been for a while now. You put yourself out there as some sort of an expert, some sort of a corporate leader, some sort of a, executive, right? And then you go making comments like this, making it very clear you don't know what you're talking about. you know? Now, in a follow-up, I have no doubt he's going to backpedal and go, well, I didn't mean that no movie had ever been done about the Fantastic Four before. I meant Disney had never done a previous, in the MCU. And they always have to put these kinds of mitigations on what they say. Ironheart was the highest rated streaming program to appear, to debut on a Wednesday in June, coming right after something else that we had up, and launched by somebody who was a DEI hire. Okay. This booger is the biggest booger I ever pulled out of my nose at 12:20 on Wednesday, the July the 6th. Or no, August the 6th. Whatever. You qualified enough, you can say anything you want. But it's getting desperately obvious to even the normies. You don't even need a talking head streaming on YouTube to explain it to you. You're getting to the point where it's like, this is a flex? Really? But be that as it may, let him make those comments before I start ripping him for it. I'm kind of ripping him for past comments, right? But, this new IP, when everyone is already comparing it to, everyone is comparing it to the unreleased Corman video, the original one with Jessica Alba and Captain America before he was Captain America and so forth, and the only reason I don't name the guy that played Reed is because I can't pronounce his Welsh name because I'm a goof, and Fan Four Stick, of course, Fan Four Stick sucked. Probably worse than this, because I've heard some good things about this movie, but Fan Four Stick, right? And maybe that's the worst part. We were talking, was it earlier this week or maybe it was last week? We were talking about whether or not you should be doing reboots all the time. Reboot. Didn't get it right this time. Let's try it again. Didn't get it right this time. As if you're playing like a video game, right? Let me save it here. Let me try to do the really hard, maneuvers. No, I died. Let me try again. I died. Let me try again. Stop doing that. Get it right the first time. Think through your strategy. And do you need to keep redoing origin stories? Well, Sin and I talked about that in the chat the other day. I can see both sides of that when it comes to something like Fantastic Four. We've already had their origin in film, so we don't strictly need it again. I don't know. But ultimately, it's if you've had to reboot it 2-3 times, and you still haven't gotten it right, and it's not doing well at the box office, give up, walk away. It's like trying to start your engine and it's not turning over, and you're just flooding it. You're just flooding it, and now it's definitely not going to start. You're fouling out the spark plugs, and yet you keep grinding until your starter burns up. That's kind of what's happening here. Bob Iger referred to the Fantastic Four as a new IP as the franchise releases its second reboot. In the wake of Disney's third quarter financial year 2025 earnings call on August 6th, Bob Iger sparked debate among fans analysts and industry observers with his comments of intellectual property strategy, while discussing the balance between creating new content and leveraging established franchises. Iger suggested that Marvel Studios continue to mine its library of characters for original property. That's a very unfortunate way of saying it, because there could be a way of reading that actually makes sense. A lot of us have been saying that there is a lot of properties that Disney has acquired that they're doing nothing with. Alita Battle Angel. Just saying. You know? Things that people have been asking for and they're doing nothing with. How long have they been sitting on the X-Men and doing nothing with them? I know they keep saying they're coming, they're coming, they're coming. But then you see something like this and you go, I don't want you bringing us the X-Men. You're going to make it worse. You're making everything worse. So let me take you to the and nothing I say should constitute stock suggest. Don't buy any stocks based on anything I say. You shouldn't do that. That is not a wise thing to do. But what I will bring up is in the past 5 years, this is what Disney has done. It's on a downward cycle today. Day to day doesn't matter. But I'm looking at the past 5 years. Now, Iger might say, yeah, but you know, the whole economy's doing bad. Is it really? Here's the past 5 years for the Dow Jones, S&P, NASDAQ, and Russell. Russell is kind of an outlier because it shows it having dropped a little bit over 5 years ago. Everything else is showing an upward trend over 5 years ago. That's the entire economy. So if you just coasted, you just kept things homeostasis in your company, you would be doing better. So Disney is actively doing worse than the economy. They're actively driving down their bottom lines. And this is the company that Bob Iger is overseeing and that we're quoting today. He's making the big bucks for doing this to Disney. I don't know about you, but every job I've ever been in, I would get an annual review where they had all kinds of metrics to say that I was doing a crummy job and they couldn't afford to give me a bigger raise. They really do. They go out of their way to downplay the good stuff that you did and upplay any mistake you made ever about anything, you know, to not give you a raise. But Bob Iger, I don't know what else you need to look at to you know, establish his bona fides and his the results of his leadership, and he's still making millions of dollars. Why? I think we know the reason, but let's move on. He specifically cited the recent release of Fantastic Four First Steps as an example of describing it as an original property in many respects. Name one. It's the first one starring Pedro Pascal. That's one respect where it's a new IP. Because it introduces the characters to audiences that, according to Iger, is unfamiliar with them. Yeah, we've already had at least 3 movies. 4 if you're basically a fan and already went out and looked for it on the internet. And members, I think we might consider next week watching the Corman Fantastic Four for Members Night at the Movies. So if you're not a member, maybe think about joining us for that. You can watch it on your own, of course, but I think the commentary would be interesting. of course, with Disney now owning the 20th Century Fox film library, I see getting to exactly what I was talking about. Hosting all 3 previous theatrical released Fantastic Four films on Disney Plus, and featuring Chris Evans as Johnny Storm in 2005's Fantastic Four, in 2024's Deadpool and Wolverine, this doesn't make much sense. Yeah. See, I actually forgot. All of this stuff is actually on Disney Plus. So he's literally playing the movies and then saying, but this is a new IP, you know? John Krasinski also made an appearance as Mr. Fantastic in Wanda, Scarlet Witch in the Multiverse of Madness back in 2020-22. Real quick, I want to welcome Brenton Thompson. Thank you for all the engagement. I mean, you're not saying anything I can respond to, but boy, I certainly do appreciate the engagement. Where were we? However, the entertainment segment, including Marvel Studios, faced scrutiny after recent underperformances like Captain America: Brave New World. We could go into all kinds of underperformance that Disney has done. Iger responded with the following. We continue to be focused on creating new IP. Obviously, that's of great value to us long term, but we also know that the popularity of our older IPs remains significant, and the opportunity is to either produce sequels or to basically bring them forward in a more modern way. Yeah. Let's see. As you've done, which is really losing you money, or convert what was previously animation into live action, like we're doing with Moana in 2026. Look, every one of your live action films, with the exception of Lilo and Stitch, has lost you money. So you can claim to leverage the success of Lilo and Stitch, but that's not really a winning strategy if you look at it long term. It's just a great opportunity for the company to support our franchises. It's a great opportunity for your company to continue its failures. So I wouldn't say that we've got a priority one way or the other. Our priority is your priority should be to put out better stories. I don't care if it's new. I don't care if it's a sequel. I don't care if it's a reboot. Learn how to tell stories, Disney. That used to be what Disney was known for. It's not anymore under Bob Iger. The history of Fantastic Four, far from original. Yeah, they're the first family of Marvel. And it's taken them this long to for Disney to get around to doing something with them. But I digress. Then it goes into the older film versions and so forth. And then, of course, it starts talking about how poorly this current iteration is doing at the box office. It has had more drop-off in the first two, between the first week and the second week than Avengers, whatever that last the Avengers Suicide Squad movie was, which was also a revenue loser for the studio. It was a flop. It absolutely was. And at least 3 occasions, Iger has lied about the performance of this film. And Variety and all the other outlets are coming out the following day and correcting him and saying, no, that's not true. It's ridiculous. Why this Bob Iger statement feels ridiculous. Iger's logic that unfortunately equates to originality sets a low bar for creativity. By this standard, any reboot could be deemed original if targeted at new viewers, diluting the incentive of genuine innovation. Disney's track record amplifies the irony. The company has leaned heavily on remakes, The Lion King and Aladdin, and sequels, Toy Story 5. They're on Toy Story 5. Holy crap. And Frozen 3, with originals like Elemental succeeding but not dominating the slate. Critics arguing this reflects Disney's risk-averse strategy post-lockdowns and amid streaming wars. As Iger himself admitted in 2023, overproduction diluted quality at Marvel, leading to flops. Well, what's your excuse now? Your quality still is very, very low. And most of your product is being churned out for Disney Plus, still to this day. A business model that has proven itself to not be functional. Iger's stance is a classic demonstration of Disney's hybrid model. Nurture new IP under banners like 20th Century Studios and Searchlight Pictures, while milking franchises for all they're worth. Successes like Inside Out 2 validate sequels, but remake failures like Snow White and Little Mermaid remind us that quality still matters. Yes! It's actually the most important thing. For Marvel, integrating Fox properties like Fantastic Four and X-Men is crucial to revitalizing the MCU post-Avengers Endgame. Yet, if reboots are sold as original, it may signal creative stagnation. I'll go even one better. If integrating Fox properties like Fantastic Four and X-Men is crucial to revitalizing the MCU post-Avengers Endgame, where the F have they been all this time? They have done nothing with them until this year. Holy crap. You spent billions on that acquisition, and you've done next to nothing with it, Bob Iger. You are an embarrassment. Conclusion, Bob Iger's characterization of the Fantastic Four First Steps as an original property is a masterclass in corporate spin, but it strains credibility. When characters born in the 1960s and technically four prior films, see, he's referring to that Corman film, this reboot is anything but new. It's a polished revival. You know what I was thinking, though. While Disney's strategy has merits, conflating reboots with original risk eroding trust. As the entertainment landscape evolves, the company must balance nostalgia with innovation and avoid the pitfalls of IP exhaustion. Fans deserve great movies, yes, but let's call them what they are. And what they are not is great films. Start making great films. I don't care if they're reboots or original. Make great films. Then we'll talk. All the rest of this is kind of fugazi, to be honest with you. I need to refill my drink. Coming back in 3 minutes.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
This Thursday night, Netter sits down with the guy who created the 10-word review, Big Al of Big Al Presents. You probably know him and his channel, but if not, you should, and here's your chance. This Thursday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, on Netter's Network.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, while matchmaking for friends and neighbors, a young 19th century English woman nearly misses her own chance at love. Cupid is armed and dangerous. Big Al presents Gwyneth Paltrow in Jane Austen's Emma, this week on Films with Friends. Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
Every Sunday evening, Aged Boomer and Pop Pacelli bring you the rundown of the week's geek news, or at least what they think is interesting. You may have heard about it somewhere else, but Boomer and Pacelli put a spin on it you likely won't hear anywhere else. It's Geeky Geezers, every Sunday evening at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
John and Gus receive a mysterious email inviting them to the Cinnamon Festival in Dual Spires, a quirky town that's nearly invisible on a map in this homage to Twin Peaks. We'll revisit this funny parody and go behind the scenes of its production next time on Live from Sparkwood and 21, this Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
The Xenon-based security systems have locked down the Scorpio, effectively stranding our heroes. The computerized lock leading to the launch silo can only be opened by Avon, who has his hands full after becoming enmeshed in a war between local tribes. And if that wasn't bad enough, there's a weapon counting down inside the launch silo, threatening to release its nuclear power. This week on Last Call presents Blake's 7. Tuesday at 10 p.m. Central.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
So Joe says, I'm actually both scared and excited for MCU X-Men movie. I really want billion-dollar X-Men movies because X-Men is the heart of Marvel and has been always. See, I'm really concerned that, I mean, you're right about the X-Men's role in Marvel. My concern is, do you really want Disney doing it with the track record they've had? After what they've done to the first family of Marvel, you want them to give the X-Men the same treatment? Not that, the Fox films were all good either, but I'd be way more reticent. Bob Iger is no more than a glorified Hollywood wife with an unlimited credit card who's mad at her husband. Only thing he knows how to do is buy stuff, doesn't know how to run the company. Yeah, I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Something I was reading somewhere that was talking about the spending habits of wealthy people and how there's a lot of people who come into wealth that, athletes and celebrities and whatnot, for example, who take all their money and just burn it. Michael Jackson, unfortunately. Well, Michael Jackson kind of played both sides of this. Actually, I'm going to say things that I've heard anyway. Nicolas Cage, who bought all kinds of, very expensive toys, and ended up, almost bankrupting himself, Michael Jackson kind of did the same thing, but on the flip side, he also bought a lot of things that brought wealth with them. Like he bought catalogs of music. And you collect the residuals on those music. Like, famously he bought the catalog of the Beatles entire back catalog. So all the money that those songs were generating over the years, Michael Jackson was collecting. So that's intelligence. And one of the things that I was reading about is how truly wealthy people, you go out and you buy Air Jordans because you want them, and you've just wasted hundreds of dollars. Whereas a wealthy person goes out and buys Nike, can have all the shoes he wants, and then receives all the profits from that company. I remember hearing about someone who started a grocery store the grocery store became a franchise. He ended up becoming wealthy, kind of self-made. And when someone asked him what made him want to go into groceries, he said, I came from a very poor family, and I thought that if I started a grocery store, if anything ever happened, at least I'd have food to feed my family. It's like, that's brilliant. And he built that into wealth, you know. And buying 20th Century Fox and accumulating, you know, back catalogs of films and whatnot is great. There's nothing wrong with that, but they do you no good if they just sit on the shelf. That's just wasting billions of dollars accumulating stuff, you know? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I brought that one up already. Also, Zendaya's MJ will have a very small role in Spider-Man 4. Why? So Brand New Day is all set to be a big spectacle, as it has Spider-Man fighting Punisher, Hulk, Scorpion, Boomerang, Tarantula, and 2 more. Great! Throw in all the villains, throw in all the action, no substance. No supporting characters, no development for the character. This is what, you know, I made this example with Batman, right? Your first Batman movie was just about Batman. Batman and the Joker. That's it. And you got character development for both those characters. You get to Batman Returns, and you've got Batman, you've got Catwoman, you've got the Penguin, you got Max Schreck. Okay, so now you got to parse out all these characters, and all these characters get less character development. You get to the next movie, and you got Batman, you got Robin, you got Two-Face, you got the Riddler, right? And you gotta develop all those characters, and none of them gets focused on, right? And you're also looking at that going, you could have made that into 2 movies. You could have made it into 2 movies. You could have had the first one be Two-Face and your origin for Robin, and focus on those 2 characters, right? And then the next movie could have been the Riddler. You get 2 movies, right? No, they couldn't do that. Then the top of the shitstorm, Batman, Robin, Batgirl, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Floronic Man, that was blinking, you missed him, and Bane. Talk about a waste of so many good characters. You know? So the more characters you cram in, the less they get developed. And the only people that get excited about that are the comic book fans that already know these characters. Oh, I got to see them in live action. You're better off reading the comics. Much better stories. On DC's side, James Gunn has confirmed there isn't a direct sequel to Superman at the moment. Well, let's be honest. Supergirl really is, right? They kind of introduced the character at the end. That's the next one they've got in the can. Gunn is just too invested in Peacemaker, and this is looking like DCEU all over again, starting with no solo sequel. Yeah. That may change. I would say that up to this point, not having announced a direct sequel was predicated on them not knowing how the movie was going to turn out. And honestly, I still don't know if it did well enough that they're going to go, yeah, we got to greenlight a sequel. Or what other plan he has. He hasn't said. That's the biggest problem. All we're doing is speculating. It's all fugazi. We have no idea. We're just making shit up in our head because he hasn't said, so we don't know. You know, and that's pretty frustrating too. I don't want current Disney Marvel to do in X-Men and X-Men. There's no one currently working at MCU that I want to touch the X-Men. Yeah, I hear you. Oh, Troy has receipts. Yeah, exactly right. Annual reviews are jag holes, full stop. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Brandon, I really do appreciate the engagement. I do hope and believe that, you know, any comment is engagement, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you're saying. Happy afternoon, Leia plus size. Happy Woden's Day. Happy Hump Day. Troy, I say it again. The only way Disney gets better, clean house. Iger, Feige, Kennedy, gotta go. Yes. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, that was, honestly, let's be honest, Leia, that was my point from the beginning. I just didn't say it quite so directly. So yeah. Disney spent years destroying the Fox Marvel characters and now is trying to fix them. Yeah. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Yeah, it's a master class in corporate stupidity. That's absolutely true. Orville Nation. Yeah, sorry. I was asking because I wanted to send my folks over to you, but I realized as I was typing, you generally don't go very long with your live streams, so I couldn't, you know, do a raid over there on you. But I appreciate you stopping by to say hi. I really, really do. Yes. Yes, I like to think that I do have friends. I appreciate that. Actually, Hulk could work as a villain in Spider-Man 4 if they make him Joe Fixit Hulk. Joe Fixit is an anti-hero and a mobster, so I think it can work this way. But I'll tell you right now, Joe, there's no way they could do Joe Fixit with no setup and all of those characters. Again, that requires character development. And there won't be enough time to give you the story that leads to Joe Fixit in any compelling way. You know, it'll just be, well, why is the Hulk gray and wearing a suit now? You know, and everyone will just be confused. Actually, did you post this twice? But since I brought it up a second time, let me point out another thing. The Hulk has often been used as a villain. There's, you know, not a villain. Villain implies, you know, evil intent. But the antagonist, right? They actually even did it in, I forget which Avengers movie. The whole idea is Hulk goes berserk and he's got to be stopped by the good guys. And usually the good guys know that that's Dr. Banner in there. You know, we gotta capture him. We don't want to kill him. We gotta calm him down. Although there was it was a really great what if the Hulk went berserk, and it's got a very tragic ending. As a lot of those what ifs did. But yeah, the Hulk usually showing up in Spider-Man, it wasn't a buddy cop story. It was the Hulk's rampaging through New York, and Spider-Man's got to stop him. You know? So yeah, you don't need another villain besides the Hulk. One other villain maybe, if he's responsible for the Hulk, you know, doing the thing and the stuff. And a good compelling story would be the whole, you know, being able to talk to Hulk and say, Hulk, I'm on your side. You got to help me. You know, you're being controlled by so-and-so or whatever. We could work together. You know, let me help you, you know? And finally, you know, because I think that whole element of Hulk has been missing, you know? There was a lot of great, in the cartoons, they did this all the time. You know, Hulk being a little bit childlike and getting through his anger and realizing that, you know, like Rick Jones was his friend or whatever. And, you know, in very simple terms, I got to protect my friend. So he realized, oh, Spider-Man's my friend. He doesn't want to hurt me. Hey, wait a minute. This guy does want to hurt me. And he's trying to hurt Spider-Man, you know? And it turns the whole tide of the story. See, this is the problem when goofballs like me, who make chump change on the internet, are coming up with better story ideas than what the cinema, what the big companies are putting out. Do we really want them, managing these IPs that we love so much? It's lunchtime. Welcome, Curtis Selby. Good to see you. Yes, and congratulations. You just told me yesterday about your monetization on your channel. Everybody get over to Curtis's channel, and you have an opportunity to become a member and drop a super thanks on him. For all this time he's been hanging out with us. Troy, how would you have done Spider-Man and would do X-Men in MCU? Well, I hadn't even seen this yet, so I guess I kind of told you what I would do with Spider-Man. Drop most of those villains and do that kind of a story. I would, but to be honest with you, you don't need a second villain. If I was to be doing the next Spider-Man movie, it would just be the Hulk. It would just be a very simple Hulk is rampaging. You could set it up with another movie. That would be a great parallel. That would be a good way of doing a parallel, right? A completely separate movie. Hulk fighting, I don't know. They've sidelined all of their good heroes right now. But the Hulk gets into a fight with someone in another movie, and it looks like kind of a dropped plot point where, they focus on something else. Whatever happened to the Hulk? Well, then you watch Spider-Man, and Spider-Man picks it up, and he's stopping the Hulk while that other battle's going on in the background there. And that's the big action sequence in the Spider-Man movie. But the majority of the Spider-Man movie is establishing what his life looks like now after the last one where he made the wish and, everything got changed. Establish his current relationship with Aunt May, his current situation working at the Daily Bugle, and all of that. Get all of the supporting characters in place. His life, make us care about Peter Parker. That's what I would do with Spider-Man. I'm avoiding talking about X-Men because I don't know the characters that well. I didn't read the X-Men comics as a kid. I was a big Spider-Man fan, a big Hulk fan, not much of an X-Men fan. I could only speak in generalities regarding the X-Men. If I was to be in Iger's place, you mean, I would pull someone in who knows the X-Men. And you know who I'd be talking to? Is all the old-time comic book guys. All the ones that had successful comic book runs that are considered iconic. Get those writers. Get them in. And pay them as writers and say, I want you to basically get yourself in the same mind frame, but obviously this is a different universe you're writing for. So make it work, The only way MCU can return to its former glory is to start hiring writers and directors who know the source. I was just saying this. Cast actors that fit the role. Don't start filming until you have a script. That's really that simple. You're absolutely right. The fact that you even have to say don't start filming until you have a script. That's like don't try starting your car until you put gas in the gas tank. Now this I can tell you will never happen. You'll never get a formal apology to the fans. The best you're going to get is a 180 change, and that in and of itself is acknowledging that they know that they screwed up. And that I agree. Fair enough. Yeah. How come Daredevil is not in Spider-Man 4? I was going to say he is, but that was just a rumor that I heard. Good question. But do we really need more characters in there? I think he would be great working with Spider-Man. Yeah. And you got to do these one at a time. If you're going to put another character in with Spider-Man, make it one character. And have a reason for it. Is there something in the comics you're trying to emulate? Adapt the damn source material or stop doing these characters, is what I'm basically getting at with all of this. Also, Sony is planning more Spider-Verse animated spin-offs. Just yesterday, Spider-Punk animated flick has been announced. You know, if you're going to do this kind of stuff, I think animated is the way to go. You minimize your risk and maximize your potential gain. It's not a bad way to go, you know? And this is tonight's watch party of Nick Knight. Check it out, guys, and make sure you show Curtis all the love tonight, okay? Also, today is a concept art of Sam Wilson's Cap versus Serpent Society was released, and it looks really cool. Don't know why they cut Serpent Society in favor of Hulk villains in Captain America 4. Because they just don't think. They're not planning this stuff through. You mean pay writers instead of putting that money towards Feige's bonuses? It's kind of the whole point of what I was talking about today, Curtis. This is exactly right. You're paying the idiots that keep losing you money, and you're trying to find ways to screw over the people that created these characters and wrote the original stories that you say that you want to adapt. That's what it comes down to. I realize I'm over time. I got to get you guys back to work. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Tonight, Netter is guesting on someone's channel. Go check out her her community tab and show her the love. Curtis is doing a stream tonight. Make sure you show him all the love. Guys, hashtag Together We Grow. Super appreciate every single one of you. Let's have a great rest of the week. Hopefully see you on Friday, where we'll be talking Batman 89. Take care, my friends. Salute.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, We'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high